Previously, we did an experiment where we made the perfect team that was perfect in everything, perfect players, perfect staff, so on and so forth. And we simulated years and years into the future until they lost their first league match. And genuinely, it took just about forever for them to lose. So we're going to try and do something very similar here today. Once again, we have the perfect team and we have the perfect players. So as we can see here, everyone here is the perfect player. But there is a twist now to all these players. If we go into their attribute details, we can see they are going to be extremely inconsistent with consistency ratings of 1. So now every single player on this otherwise perfect team has a consistency attribute of 1. So this is the perfect team, but they are extremely inconsistent. And we are going to do a 5-year simulation to see if they aren't very good anymore. So previously we saw that the perfect team that was consistent and amazing in everything pretty much won every game. We're going to simulate 5 seasons with this perfect team, but we're going to see if being inconsistent causes them to lose or even draw some matches, especially in the league. Are we going to go from a team that won 38 out of 38 matches to a team that doesn't do that, to a team that loses matches? Might they even concede the Premier Division? On the other hand, though, they are still the perfect team with the perfect players. So will consistency even matter if you're the perfect player? Because even if you get a bad roll of the dice, you're still perfect. You're still overpowered in every sense. So even if a poor game for the perfect player might still be a great game for most other players on this earth. So does consistency even matter if you're the perfect team? We are going to find out. So in total, this is going to be a 5-year simulation because otherwise, once you go past 5 years, we have lots of issues with other players coming in and transfers, and it no longer is the perfect team. So we're going to do this for 5 seasons. We're going to see how they do. They are in the English Premier Division. We're going to see if they win the Premier Division. They're in no other competitions this season other than the Caribou Cup and FA Cup. But of course, we will be looking at seeing whether or not they can win the Champions League and how they do otherwise. Our original perfect team won literally every trophy possible. We'll see if this inconsistent perfect team can replicate that. So with that in mind, let's go to a midpoint. Let's go 2 years into the future. Let's see what things look like, and then we'll jump to the 5-year mark. So let's go 2 years. Let's see what happens. Welcome back. We are 2 years into the future. How is our inconsistent but perfect team doing? Let's go to the Premier Division first. We can see that they won it, but how did they do winning it? They won 38 matches. It literally didn't matter. They had 141 goals and 5 goals against. It did not matter in season 1. They won the Premier Division easily. What about the next season? They got a draw. I guess it mattered and they got a draw, but they're still ridiculous. 154 goals and 17 goals allowed. That is insane. Has it mattered in other competition at least? All right, let's go to senior squad. So season 1, did they literally win? Okay. It might have mattered. They lost 1 match on pens. So they lost 1 match on pens in the Caribou Cup quarterfinal, but that is worse. They didn't win every trophy and they weren't in as many. But otherwise they did win everything. They won every game. They won the FA Cup. But they did lose. They lost in the Caribou Cup quarterfinal. This is a player with a team with every single player having a penalty taking of 20. That is wild that they've lost the penalty shootout. But what about the second season? They won the Champions League. They won everything. Like they literally won everything. They drew once. When you're the perfect team, I don't even think consistency is mattering. What are the average ratings looking like? So looking at their players, like this perfect player, he got 7.78 average rating. It's not affecting them at all. Why was he on loan? What about this guy? 7.05. Maybe. Oh, that's the goalkeeper, though. That's a great rating for a keeper. 7.12. He was probably coming in off the bench. Who are their most important perfect player 10 here? What about him? 7.43. I mean, they're still doing phenomenal. It literally doesn't matter. It doesn't feel like, I mean, when you're this good, I suppose being consistent or inconsistent doesn't matter one bit. Well, that's 2 years. Maybe it'll matter in the next 3 years, once teams are kind of figuring it out. So let's just jump forward to the end of the experiment and we'll see what's been happening. Welcome back. We are in the year 2027. If you are taking note of the dates here, I am using a database that I made for the previous version of Football Manager that I was able to load into FM24 with that cool new feature now. So that's why this is like a little bit off. So we started in 2022. That being said, everything's still the same. We are still in the FM24 match engine. But with that in mind, let's look and see how our perfect team is doing. So let's go to their schedule, senior squad. We last saw them, I think this was the last time we saw them. So in 2024-25, they won everything again. They won the Champions League 3-0 against Real Madrid. They had one draw in the Caribou Cup semifinal second leg, and they still won it. I don't think it matters. They won everything. Premier Division. Well, let's just go to the Premier Division. They've won everything. They've literally won everything. 38 wins, 36 wins and 2 draws. This is the closest thing we're gonna get to imperfection here. They're amazing. I know they're the perfect team, but I was the inconsistency just doesn't matter when you're this good. It literally doesn't matter. 26-27, they won the Champions League again. I mean, they just got the draw, but they've done everything. The 2 draws, and that's it. That's it. They've done everything. They won the Champions League every season. Looking at the Champions League, they won it 4 times in a row. They've never lost in the Champions League. The only real blemish on this record is not winning the Carabao Cup in the first season, which maybe has something to do with inconsistency. I mean, they lost early on, but otherwise, they've been perfect. There's literally nothing they've done wrong. It turns out even if you make the best team of all time inconsistent, they're still amazing. Honestly, I was expecting like one loss in 5 seasons, and I was gonna point to that and be like, yeah, the consistency, like even the perfect team, they can still lose if they're inconsistent. But Football Manager surprised me. They didn't lose. They never lost. I mean, they're the perfect team. Of course they're not going to lose. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? I mean, I think we could replicate this experiment one more time and just nerf all of the hidden attributes. So if we go to like one of the perfect players here, like we've done it where we've nerfed every single hidden attribute and completely destroyed their personality. And that has a huge impact. When we've done that previously, they don't win the league. Like they are not a good team despite being perfect. But I think there's the last thing we could do here that might be interesting is completely destroy their important matches. We could give them, like, keep the rest of their hidden attributes the same because we've already done that. We've already seen what happens. But it would be interesting to nerf their consistency and important matches, potentially keeping their important matches at 20, still help them to win those big games. So it would be interesting to see. I think that would be kind of the next step if you all would be interested in seeing that, would be to nerf both important matches and consistency and see if somehow the perfect team ends up losing a game at that point. But from what we're seeing here, they're so good that, I mean, even a bad game for the perfect player is still going to be better. And with a whole team of perfect players, like not every single one of these players is going to have a bad game. And if we just need one of them, probably like every single one of them are a match winner. So even if one of them does well, they're probably still going to win. Well, that's it. The inconsistent perfect team was still consistently awesome. I guess when you're that good, even having a low consistency doesn't really matter, which surprised me. I thought they would lose a match. They clearly didn't. I was going to point to that one match and say consistency is huge, but for the perfect team, they were still fantastic. That being said, I hope you've enjoyed this experiment. It actually surprised me a little bit, so I hope you all got something from it. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!